Hi, you're listening to The Island of a Lost Pilot by Rajesh Bhatia, narrated by Deepak Agnihotri. Chapter 32. The Detectives. Shekhar and Rohan left the police station and came out. Rohan stopped the car along roadside. "Now to home?" he asked. Shekhar was deep in thought. "Rohan, the police had left me under pressure, and they are not yet satisfied. They will try to find more clues. If more clues are not found, they will convince the commissioner and nab me again. They may leak this information to newspapers and the reporters may write against me and demand my arrest. It is now or never situation. We have only today. Tomorrow this thing could be in print and I may be arrested again. Let me think, Rohan," Shekhar said, closed his eyes and rested his head against the headrest. After 5 minutes, he opened his eyes and said, "Rohan, we have become everyone in the last few days. Let us become detectives today. Or we can hire some detective. What I want to do does not require a professional detective. We will try it ourselves. If we don't succeed, we will hire a detective then. Okay, let us get going." Shekhar asked Rohan to park the car in the inner circle of Connaught Place and took him to a big ready-made garments shop. "Why all this?" he demanded. "We are going to Malhotra's office, which is very near. He has a beautiful secretary cum receptionist. I have a feeling that my answer lies with Malhotra. I will go inside and talk to Malhotra about Saxena and his mysterious woman. You stay out and impress that girl. I'm sure that she will fall for you. If she does not, you somehow lure her for lunch and pump out any truth useful for us." "But Dad, don't you know?" Rohan was silent. "Don't hesitate. I know that you have a girlfriend and she will kill you if you are found flirting. Don't worry, I will convince her. Now go fast and select those dresses which you feel are necessary to attract that girlfriend of yours." After about 15 minutes, when Rohan came out, he was looking different. He had put on shoes with 2 inches heels and now appeared to be 6 feet 1 inch tall. He had purposely selected a colorful and skin-fit t-shirt which had very short sleeves that exposed his upper arms to its fullest. An expensive pair of shining corduroy trousers was a perfect fit and matching with the t-shirt. He already had a shining huge watch in his left and a bracelet in his right hand. He had also put on light-colored sunglasses that best suited his face. They now visited a men's salon. Rohan got a quick facial and his hair styled and fixed in place with hairspray. When he moved, not only girls but boys also could not help but put a second glance on him. Girls with appreciation, boys with envy. Shekhar gave some more instructions and they both entered the office of Malhotra. Roma, the receptionist, greeted them and informed Mr. Malhotra of their arrival. She glanced at Rohan, who was behind Shekhar, and she was stunned for a few seconds. She had never seen a more handsome man in her life. Love at the first sight. Shekhar noticed the lust in her eyes, turned towards Rohan and winked. "Rohan, you wait here till I go and meet Mr. Malhotra." Mr. Malhotra was all welcome, beaming and nodding. He said, My pleasure, Mr. Shekhar. Please be seated." Shekhar sat comfortably. "How was the trip, sir?" "I'm glad you have found your son." "It was fine," Shekhar replied shortly. Shekhar sat comfortably. "What will you like to have? Coffee? Cold drink?" "Okay, coffee will do." Shekhar wanted to gain time for Rohan. Malhotra barked in the intercom and ordered the secretary to send coffee inside. His actions were fast. Shekhar was watching him and felt that he was disturbed, and his hands were shaking slightly. "I am very sorry for you, as you were arrested for the murder of Saxena. But I am sure of your innocence. I am with you. You are a perfect gentleman, and I will say so in the courtroom." "Thank you, Mr. Malhotra, for your faith in me. I am sure that you will certainly help me." "Without any doubt, Mr. Shekhar." The office boy brought the coffee along with some trays containing biscuits and roasted cashew nuts. Shekhar sipped the coffee slowly. Malhotra was watching nervously. Shekhar finished the coffee and appreciated it. Malhotra asked for more. Shekhar nodded, but wanted it after 10 minutes. He wanted to gain time. The clock struck 1 and he felt sure that Rohan must have taken the secretary out for lunch. "Mr. Malhotra, Shekhar broke the silence. Malhotra sat bolt tight with attention like an intelligent front seat student. Mr. Malhotra, I want to ask you that why you misguided me about the visa procedures of Philippines and Hong Kong. While being a travel agent all the time, you knew the visa for these countries is a visa on arrival for Indians. I'm sorry, Mr. Shekhar. Please forgive me. I had become a bit greedy. I had some losses in my business and was running under debts. It was 22nd and I had not fully paid the salaries. When you came and I found that you are unaware of the visa conditions, I found a way to extract some money from you. That's why I lured you to use Saxena's passport. I owe you 2 lakh rupees and promise to pay you this money back whenever my conditions get improved. I will pay you the interest also. You are a gentleman. Please forgive me. Malhotra was making such a face and it seemed that he was about to cry very soon. Even a stone-hearted person would have forgiven him seeing his face. Oh, forget about the money. Shekhar was irritated at the act Malhotra performed. It is all because of your passport that I have fallen a prey into the hands of the police. I'm sorry, Mr. Shekhar. Malhotra had actually started crying. If you really want to help me, please tell me something. Yes, Malhotra was attentive again. You have claimed that you were a close friend of Saxena for the last 10 years. Yes, that's true. Then you must have known about the sweetheart of your friend. Who is she? Malhotra was taken aback. He did not expect this question. That I don't know, Mr. Shekhar. Malhotra shook his head. And yet, you claim to be his friend. Mr. Shekhar, you see, this was his personal life. These extramarital affairs are kept secret. He didn't feel it necessary to confide in me. Even if I had known, I wouldn't have told anyone. Why so? To protect the honor of that woman, Mr. Shekhar. I see. Shekhar nodded. More coffee now? Yes, now. Shekhar looked at his watch, 1:20 p.m. What was happening outside, he wondered. Outside before lunch, Rohan had taken a seat and was casually turning the pages of a magazine. When he looked at the secretary who was watching him intently, Rohan had removed the sunglasses. He returned the glance, but soon shifted his eyes as Roma didn't blink. Rohan took the clue that she was interested in him. He got up and started pacing the floor. The phone on her desk rang. Her boss wanted her to send coffee inside. Mr. Would you like to have some coffee? She asked. Rohan Khanna, he replied. Roma Mehra. She extended a well-manicured hand. Rohan took her hand and held it there. She didn't object. She looked into his eyes and whispered, Coffee? Lunch. Rohan whispered back, still holding the hand. Where? Somewhere outside. Okay, she replied, mesmerized. The clock stroked 1. It was lunchtime. The timing was perfect. What about your father? She asked. Don't worry, he's going to stay there for some time. Let us move quickly then. She locked her drawer, lifted her purse, and trotted outside with him. They walked to York Restaurant, which was very near, and occupied the seats. She was not able to believe her luck that Rohan was actually with him. Where are you? Rohan snapped his fingers to break her illusion. The waiter appeared with the menu. What would you like to have? Asked Rohan. Anything of your choice? Veg or non-veg? Veg at lunch. Something light. Yes. Rohan ordered yellow dal, mixed vegetable, raita, butter rotis. She nodded in approval. After asking about family background, qualification, general questions, etc., Rohan asked about Saxena. Did you know Mr. Sudhir Saxena? Yes, poor fellow. Shot dead on 22nd March, the day when your father came to our office. Do you know that he resembled your dad? Yes, I know that. Do you know that someone had misled police saying that dad murdered him? Oh no, so bad. Your dad is such a nice gentleman. I'm sure that he can't commit a crime. What about your boss, Malhotra? Couldn't he have done it? Yes, he could have done it. He is very cunning, you know. My dad had gone to ask something from Malhotra. I don't know whether he will tell him. It was very important. What is it? Perhaps I can help? I think you can help. Can you tell me about the woman with whom Saxena had an affair? Why? That's Mrs. Malhotra. Everyone in our office knows about it. Are you sure? Rohan asked excitedly. Yes, 100% sure. Once I myself overheard it. Mr. Saxena came to our office and my boss was scolding him. That gives the motive of the murder, isn't it? Roma nodded. The lunch was brought. Rohan was unwilling to eat because of the tension and excitement. He wanted to go immediately and tell Shekhar about the mysterious woman. The aroma of food was too good to resist. They ate in silence for some time. Can you do me a small favor? Asked Rohan. Sure. Try me for anything. I want the mobile phone details of Mr. Malhotra. Only this much? Only this much. What else you had expected? Nothing. Which month's detail you want? Replied Roma dejectedly. Only one day is sufficient? The 22nd of March? You will get when we will reach the office. After the lunch, they hurried to the office. It was 1:35 p.m. when she unlocked the drawer and took out a file. She selected a 4-paged bill and handed it to Rohan. Rohan quickly reached to the date. Malhotra had made about 25 to 30 calls that day, but not a single call was to Mr. Saxena. He was pretended to talk to Saxena all the time while negotiating about the passport deal. There was also no call made around 3:40 to 3:45, as Shekhar had told that he was talking to someone when they entered Saxena's apartment complex at Tolstoy Road. He was again pretending to speak to someone. But why? Shekhar kept the empty cup of coffee and looked at the watch. 1:42 p.m. Where was Rohan? Had he succeeded? What was his further plan if Rohan had not been able to get any useful information? Suddenly Rohan barged in and whispered something in Shekhar's ear, who whispered back something. No, I don't agree with you at this point. The police will sleep over this information. We will have to do it ourselves. Dad, you leave it to me. Let me handle this. As you wish, said Shekhar and relaxed in his chair. Rohan bolted the office door from inside and moved towards Malhotra. What is all this? What do you intend to do with me? You want to hit me? Touch me and I will call the police. He moved towards the phone. We intend to beat the truth out of you, Rohan said, as if he was talking of hanging a carpet and dusting it. Now, as a fight seemed inevitable, Malhotra stood up, held his clenched fists, and said in a trembling voice, Perhaps you don't know, I was once a boxer. I was once a boxer, Rohan mimicked, and I am not afraid of pot-bellied rats like you. Malhotra hit Rohan with a blow, but he was very slow. Rohan hit him on the temple, and only one blow was sufficient to throw him on the ground. Rohan turned his face down and sat on him. He twisted his right hand and kept his head on the ground by holding the hair on the back of his head with his left hand. He also had kept Malhotra's left hand under his knees. Malhotra winced with pain as Rohan twisted the hand further. I am not going to have mercy on you. I am going to break your hand. I will not stop till you tell the truth. I will tell everything. Please leave me. Tell me, who murdered Saxena? I did, shouted Malhotra. Why? Because of the affair he had with my wife. Leave him, Rohan. Let us call his secretary. She will note down his statement and then we will drag him to the police station. Roma was called. She looked at the bewildered Mr. Malhotra. Many of his shirt and sleeve buttons were missing. His clothes and hair were disheveled. His face looked ghastly and he looked at her helplessly. Roma followed Shekhar's instructions and noted the statement of Mr. Malhotra. Mr. Malhotra told that, although Saxena was his friend, he had stabbed in his back by having an affair with his wife. In spite of many requests and warnings, Saxena had not changed himself and therefore he had shot him at about 1:45 p.m. in his flat. He had come straight to his office after murdering him and found Shekhar standing there. On first sight, he took him for Saxena and was extremely horrified. When he listened to Shekhar's problem, the plan of using Shekhar as a scapegoat brewed in his mind. He understood that Shekhar was unaware of the visa procedures. It was Saturday and the journey of Shekhar was very important. Therefore, he lured Shekhar to use Saxena's passport, which he always had with him, as Saxena, a regular visitor to Hong Kong, had himself given it to him for some travel purpose a few days back, when they didn't have any enmity against each other. He pretended to speak to Saxena to strike a deal, while there was no one on the other side to speak to, and the call was not made at all. The use of Saxena's passport was the motive of Shekhar. In order to find a chance to plant the murder gun and create a situation so that Shekhar will write his name on the visitor's book, he took Shekhar to Saxena's flat. He was spying on Saxena for many days and had duplicate keys for his flat. He entered Saxena's flat again and found the body as he had left it. He pocketed the cash, gold and watch from the body of Saxena. He had taken his mobile phone also. When they left Saxena's apartment, another idea came to his cunning mind. He immediately got down, ran to the gate of Saxena's apartment complex and rang Shekhar using Saxena's mobile, pretending that he was Mahesh from some NGO. This established that Saxena made his last call to Shekhar, and somehow Shekhar went back to Saxena to talk about some doubt about the deal. They had some disagreement, then a struggle, and Shekhar killed Saxena. Malhotra also told that when for 3 consecutive days the police were running in dark circles and there was not a mention of the name of murderer in any newspaper, he went to the railway station and made an anonymous call to hint about Shekhar. This was about the statement of Malhotra. The anonymous tip of Malhotra didn't matter, as the police had already established Shekhar as their prime suspect because of Saxena's last call and the entry in visitors' register. The police investigators were careful in their investigation as they knew that Shekhar was not in India and they wanted to nab him on his arrival. They feared that Shekhar might run away if they contacted his family for questioning. Shekhar made little corrections in Malhotra's narration and gave it to Roma. Roma ran to her desk, typed this letter and brought a print in 15 minutes. Shekhar called 3 more employees of Malhotra. Roma read the statement aloud to all of them and gave it to Malhotra for signing. Malhotra looked at Rohan, who was standing by his side with his hands folded, the sleeves of his left arm up to his shoulder, rubbing the back of his hand casually, exposing his strong biceps, smiling at him. Whimpering and sighing reluctantly, he signed the statement. Shekhar extended the sheet towards Roma, who signed gladly. The other employees were surprised but were not willing to sign. Shekhar informed, "Being a murder case, the situation is delicate. I can always mention your name to the police. Then it will be their duty to ask whether Malhotra had signed in your presence or not. You are bound to cooperate in a murder case, whether you like it or not." "But our jobs, sir, how can we go against our boss?" asked one of them. "Your boss is going to land in jail soon. In all cases, you will have to find another job unless someone runs this agency." "Is there any doubt which I can clear?" Rohan reached there with his hands on the side of his hip bones and added, "All of you must know that Mr. Malhotra has given this evidence without any force." He turned towards Mr. Malhotra and asked, "Isn't it, Mr. Malhotra?" Yes, that's true," replied Malhotra promptly. Rohan's manner was casual, but Malhotra's staff understood that when Rohan can make a murderer sign his own death sentence, there were no one to protest, hence they signed it. "Now go and get some rope for me," Shekhar said to no one in particular. One of them went out and within 5 minutes brought a small bundle of rope. Shekhar moved towards Malhotra, who held his neck with both hands. Shekhar could not help laughing. Others smiled at the sight of Malhotra. "I am not going to hang you. This is not my job. The court will fulfill your desire. I am simply going to tie your hands and drag you to the police station. You have given me a very tough time. I had always been a law-abiding citizen. You turned me into a criminal when I used that passport." Malhotra was bundled into the back seat. Rohan was about to move when he saw desperate-looking Roma waving her hand slowly. Rohan looked at Shekhar, who nodded at him. Rohan went near her and said, "Thank you, Roma, once again. Without your help, it would not have been possible to clear the charges on my dad. I will never forget your role throughout my life. I will be too pleased to be of any use to you in my life." Roma held his hands and said, "Don't talk like that, Rohan. I met you 1.5 hours back, and it seems to me that I know you for ages. I have developed a special feeling for you. Never felt it before. Nobody has yet come in my life. You are so wonderful. I think that I have started loving you." And she lowered her eyes. "Roma, try to understand. This is not love, but infatuation. You are a wonderful and brave girl. If I had not promised to someone else, I would have certainly loved you." "Oh, I'm sorry. I never thought." Roma was tearful. "Roma, please don't shed tears." "Can we become friends then?" "Better than friends." "How so?" "Will you become my sister? I already have one elder sister. You will be the younger one, if you wish." "Rohan, you are an angel. You are so wonderful, such a nice gentleman, so pure feelings." "Your beloved will be too lucky," remarked Roma and hugged Rohan. Rohan hugged her and kissed her on her forehead. Roma smiled and bade him goodbye. A load was removed off Rohan's chest. Rohan came and started the car. Shekhar was listening to some of the conversation. He also felt sorry for the girl. Rohan was silent as he drove the car. "Rohan, neither you nor me is God, but humans. And humans do make mistakes. I'm sorry, Rohan, to ask you to perform such a trick on that girl. You should not feel bad about all this." "But Dad, I will never forgive myself," blurted Rohan. "Rohan, you are handsome and you will meet many women in your life. You can love only one woman and are bound to break the hearts of others. You should feel relieved that you have not betrayed her and told her the truth. Also, you have found a sweet bonding with her." Rohan was convinced and drove on. When they reached home at about 6 p.m., they were amazed to find a crowd of not less than 100 persons in their home. Surekha had to arrange for a small tent with seating arrangements. The close relatives who lived in Delhi were all present and waiting for them. The friends of Rohan and Ritu were there. They had come to congratulate them on their many victories. The neighbors were coming and going in small groups. Snacks, teas, coffee and cold drinks were served in abundance. A dinner for all was arranged there. Reporters from the leading daily newspapers had also smelled the newspaper headlines for the tomorrow's editions. They had been tipped from the embassy and the police station. They had also contacted the Hong Kong news for the detailed descriptions. They also had the dinner, and after the dinner, the whole Khanna family was interviewed and photographed. 10th April 2008, Wednesday. The newspapers plentifully described the details of the story of Rohan and Shekhar. The disappearance of Rohan, the journey of Shekhar, the finding of Rohan and Ryan, the trouble with Ming, the day at Pratas Island, the capture of the drug peddlers, the party of Mr. Walker, and finally the solved mystery of Saxena's murder, all appeared to be the events of a fiction story. The gift checks of Mr. Walker and the huge amount that was yet to come from PDEA was the sensational news. The honor and admiration given by Mr. Walker, Colonel Sayo, PDEA Director, embassies of India at Philippines and Hong Kong Customs and Excise Department, etc. raised the pride of the nation. For many days, Rohan and Shekhar were the talk of the town. They had become celebrities. They were known throughout India and many parts of the world. They were interviewed by many news channels for many days. The success of Shekhar and Rohan, the common middle-class people, was phenomenal. The reversal of the murder charge on Shekhar was also much talked about. His brilliance was admired. There were bets on the amount of money Shekhar and Rohan were about to gain as prizes for helping the authorities to nab the drug mafia and from Mr. Walker. Someone had announced to write a book on their adventures. A prominent film producer announced to make a film on this subject with a budget of rupees 100 crores and shown its interest to cast the real-life heroes Rohan and Shekhar. Within 15 days, they had attained success, fame, satisfaction and money. Some astrologer wrote special columns by computing their birth dates along with the movements of various planets and explained that such events happen once in 1,000 years. Someone wrote, "Only the brave men like Shekhar and Rohan, who jump into the sea of fire, deserve the success like this in life." The checks of Mr. Walker were cleared. An amount of $50 million was deposited in their accounts as the commission from PDEA. Shekhar was sent another $2 million from PDEA for his intelligence and Rohan another $1 million for his bravery. The Hong Kong Customs and Excise Department sent $50,000 each to them. Besides the money, certificates and letters of admiration were also showered on them. They were covered in BBC News and many other international channels and got a lot of royalty for the news coverage. As usual, Indian government rose from slumber and thought about them. They also announced prizes of 1 crore rupees each to Shekhar and Rohan with some certificates of appreciation. Shekhar had already been cleared of the charge of using Saxena's passport. The court thought that under those circumstances, a father could not have thought of something else. But more was yet to come. Mr. Walker had not forgotten them. He had changed his will and made some provisions for Shekhar and his family and wanted them to visit Australia. Shekhar used the prize money to set up an excellent state-of-the-art factory in Manesar. Rohan continued his engineering studies as he had planned to join his father's company. They were invited in some PDEA function at Philippines and given some awards. Most of Lamont's gang was busted, but Lamont was himself in hiding. Later, he was chased in his BMW car by PDEA operatives and was killed in August 2009 in Philippines. This was the end of the king of drug mafia, the process being started by Rohan.